Welcome to Learned and Go-Go, the podcast. Hey, this is Sydnee A. I am your host, and I am the author of Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Go-Go, How a Preacher's Daughter Pole Danced Her Way to Finding Her True Self. And I am super excited to be back on another Thursday. I am a little bit early tonight. It's the end of my husband's vacation time, so I want to get our podcast time in and then go hang out by the fire pit with him. So pushed it up a little bit earlier this week. Thank you to everyone who joined me last week while I was on vacation. It was really cool that I was able to hook up with you guys from, a different spot. I really appreciate that in this day and age, technology is so cool that I didn't have to be home to do this, or I don't have to be in a podcast studio to do my podcast. So thank you so much. I am seeing some people hopping on. Say hi. Let me know who you are. I can just see there's a couple people on here, but it doesn't tell me who. So don't be shy. As usual, I have nothing planned for this evening. I love talking with you guys and seeing where the conversation goes. So like I said, it's been a wonderful vacation. Last week when we talked, I was down the shore, and I'm excited to be home again and love talking with you guys every week. Last week we talked about vacations, we talked about werewolves, we talked about all kinds of things. So this week I am excited. I just went and saw the movie Blink Twice today. So I'm going to jump in because let me say hi real quick. I'm going to say hi to Matt. Matt is awesome. I was on his podcast, Tales of the Hunted. So definitely check out his podcast. He just published a book as well. Definitely follow him on social media. My friend Shani. Hi, my gorgeous friend. I love you and I miss you terribly. She is awesome. Luna Projects is here. Hello, sweetheart. I love you. Thank you so much. And she's suggesting movies for tonight too. So movies and books. Oh, and Mark's here too. Hey, Mark. How you doing tonight, sweetie? Mark is super cool too. Another friend. Love seeing you guys all in here. So yes, a little bit ago, we went and saw the movie Blink Twice. And it's funny because there's so many movies and TV shows, all kinds of things wind up in the news feed. So I remembered saying that I wanted to see Blink Twice. Before the movie started, I honestly didn't even remember what it was about, who was in it. So I was really glad. I did enjoy the movie. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but it was really cool seeing Channing Tatum in a more intense role. He wasn't just the meathead guy. So if you've seen Blink Twice, definitely let me know what your thoughts were about it. And if not, what movies have you seen recently? And tell me, were they good? Were they bad? Like, what did you like or not like about them? I'm going to do a couple more shout outs here. Jillian, hey, sweetie, thank you for hopping on here tonight. And Mark has a question. What if you only blink once? If it's a long blink, you might fall asleep. I think the idea is that blinking twice indicates that you're in trouble. I think that's the idea. Sorry, I forgot. It's like 110 degrees in the polecast room. So ditching the hoodie. Also going to show off Death from Gerald in the Afterlife. I'm starting to lose the henna a little bit. So I'm enjoying him while he lasts. Luna says, I watched Serial Mom with Kathleen Turner, which I hadn't seen in years. I remember when that came out. Was that 90s? I think it was 90s. And Mark says, I saw Furiosa. It was stellar. I did see Furiosa a couple weeks ago. Super good movie. I agree. That was stellar. 94. Okay, yeah. Serial Mom came out in 94. Wow. I graduated high school in 93, so 94, I was still a baby. That's crazy, and a lot of my friends are younger than me, so you were definitely babies when that movie came out. And yeah, Luna says 30 years. It's been 30 years since that came out, which is crazy because like I'm only 24. Psych. Yeah, so also while we were away, Dave and I watched Basket Case, which is, I really liked it. So the premise is, and this is an older movie, it's like a dude is born as a conjoined twin, and the twins are removed. It's only like this much of a body, and he winds up like carrying it around in a basket. It's, you have to see it. You have to see it. It's on Tubi. Giving big ups to Tubi because there are so many things on there for free that you can watch. And there's apparently three movies. It's a trilogy. So I cannot wait to watch the second and third Basket Case movies. I really, really enjoyed the first one. And then on Saturday, I'm going to go see Stream because, first of all, Tim Curry is in it. And I have such a humongous crush on Tim Curry. And he hasn't been live action in a movie in a long time. He's done voice acting, but he hasn't been on screen in years. And when I heard he was in it, I was like, take my money. I'm going to go see this movie. And also David Howard Thornton's in it, and I adore him. If you're not familiar, he plays Art the Clown in the Terrifier movies, but he is just such a wonderful human being. I follow him on Threads and on Instagram, and he just brings me joy. So I definitely want to support him in Stream as well. I'm sure, they're big movies, but definitely support indie movies as well because there's so much talent out there and not all of it gets to be seen in the big theater. So like I said, Tubi, the Troma Now app is amazing. There are things on there you will never see anywhere else, and I'm really enjoying that as well. There's another app that streams a lot of really good indie movies, and I'm drawing a blank. So if you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments because it's really important to support, indie art, indie books, indie movies. So many people have talent but don't have connections. So definitely support all of this talent. Okay, Luna says it's 40 years since Purple Rain, and here in Cincinnati, they're going to play it at the Kenwood Theater on the big screen. That movie is a classic movie. Prime has a bunch. Speaking of Prime, another movie that I just saw, again, because I heard who was in it, and I was like, take my money, is Dr. Jekyll with Eddie Izzard playing Nina Jekyll. So good. So good. I think now you can rent it. I bought it because, again, huge crush on Eddie Izzard. And that was the credited name. They didn't use Susie in the credits. So that's why I'm saying Eddie Izzard. Absolutely adore that person. So, and I thought it was a good job. I thought they did a great job. I loved the story. And it was really fun. I was watching it again while I was working today. I had it on in the background to watch it for a second time. It was really good. So definitely, like, what else have you guys been watching lately? Has it been older movies like Purple Rain and Serial Mom, or have you been in the theater as well? Speaking of movies, hi, Johnny. Johnny's joining us tonight. If you follow my pages, you may have seen that I've filmed some scenes for Curse of the Ghostwriter, which is Johnny's first movie that he's directing and writing and everything, doing all the things. So super excited for when that comes out. That was a lot of fun, and I still have more scenes to record, by the way. So you have not seen the last of April Jones yet. That's all I'm going to say. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm really honored to be asked to be a part of it because it's a great project. Jen's here. Hi, sweetie. One of my besties. That is awesome. Yes. And Johnny also says he is officially a Troma actor. He was up in, I believe, in New York a couple of days ago filming his scenes for an official Troma movie with Uncle Lloyd and everything. So super duper excited about that too. And I cannot wait to see when that movie comes out. Hey, Tina's here too. Hey, sweetie. Eddie is hot, 100% hot. Love Eddie. I've been watching The Walking Asking Dead. I don't know that one. I never saw it before and I'm hooked. Ooh, okay. That sounds really cool. And Luna says, I haven't been to the theater since before COVID, sadly. I understand that we definitely went a lot more often before COVID. Then we got into streaming at home. And then just recently, we've been going back to the theater. My oldest has the Regal Unlimited app. So they go, a couple times a week because, they can. But when it's something that we all want to see, then we all have been going together. Typically, we all go watch Marvel movies as a family. And as a family, I mean, me, my husband, our 3 kids, and our 2 nephews used to go to every Marvel movie. Now our older nephew lives in Indiana. So it's usually the rest of us that go. And it's just a nice family tradition, but it is expensive. So if your local theater has, like the Regal here on Tuesdays has discounted tickets, discounted concessions, it's a good time to pick to go, and it's a lot cheaper because the movie theater is crazy. I tell this story all the time. I don't know if my sister's on here or not because I told her to get her butt into the comments. When she was little, because my sister's 26 years younger than me, so I took, Dave and I took our 3 kids, my sister, our 2 nephews, my youngest best friend, that may have been 7 kids, the 2 of us. We took to go see Kung Fu Panda 2 because that's what they wanted to see. Kung Fu Panda 2. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Jack Black. I love the Kung Fu Panda theme song with the something, 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 keep the valley. I like that. But it was almost $300 to take 9 of us to the movies, and that movie sucked. That is 2 hours of my life I will never get back. So definitely I understand if you don't want to invest the money into going to the theater because not all of them are worth your investment. Yeah, Johnny Logan Harley is here, says Mark. That is awesome. And Tina says, we are in the presence of greatness. Johnny is amazing. I love that everyone is giving him shout outs. Luna says, is that one of the spinoffs of The Walking Dead? Okay, yeah, so Tina mentioned what she's been watching. I believe it was Tina. Let me go back in yes. So if you can pop in the comments and clarify if it's a spinoff of The Walking Dead. And then she said, we went to this theater in Blue Ash, but sadly that theater hasn't reopened and permanently closed. That's so sad because so many theaters didn't recover from COVID. And I understand that people didn't want to be in that close proximity when it wasn't really certain what was going on. So it just like theaters and lots of other businesses never bounced back, and it's sad. Dustin, hey Dustin, hooray, I'm glad you're here too. Dustin is awesome. You can look for him in the movies too. It's really weird though, like I'll go, and when I was at Trimathon I saw Dustin, and then I saw this Turkey Man, and I wanted to tell Dustin to come say hi to Turkey Man, but I couldn't find him. And then Turkey Man was gone and Dustin was back. It was really weird. So I would keep my eye out for Turkey Man in that Troma movie as well, because I hear he's there. I have not seen the Trolls movies. They look adorable. I have not seen them yet. Since my kids are a little older, I don't see all of the kids' movies like I used to, but they do look super cute. Did you like them? Let me know. And Dustin is agreeing that Johnny is awesome. Yes. This entire community is awesome. I love all you guys so much. And I love when you hop on here, when you take the time on your Thursday to just come and chat and see what we're going to talk about. And Johnny is saying, Dustin is awesome. That's so cool. I'm so glad you guys got to see each other this past weekend. Super cool. Johnny says, Turkey Man is my new drinking buddy. I don't have them loaded up, but I actually have photos of Turkey Man with this special drink that he was drinking. It was actually really cool looking. Speaking of drinks, I'm going to take a little sip. So if you are joining at home, whether it's in the alky category or if it's just a glass of water, take a sip with me. Cheers to us. All right. So let's see. Dustin says, pure coincidence. Turkey Man 2 just pops up whenever he is summoned. I enjoy the movies with my little ones. We love Bluey. Bluey, the cartoon dog, Bluey? Or is Bluey a character in the Trolls movies? And the special drink, I would have to ask Dustin if he knows what Turkey Man's special drink was. It was green. I remember that. It looked really cool. And Johnny says he thought I was a cretin. And Dustin is confirming the cartoon dog Bluey. I have heard that a lot of people like Bluey. And I also heard that a lot of people put Bluey on for their dogs when they leave. So I did that for Muffy, and she was not impressed with Bluey at all. So maybe my dogs are just weird. I put on Paw Patrol for her once when we went out too. But now I think if Paw Patrol comes on, it triggers her because she thinks we're leaving. So that kind of backfired. And Luna's asking if it's Midori, which I remember Midori. That's like a melon liqueur. But it wasn't that. It almost looked like creamy green. It was. I don't think it was a grasshopper. I think it might be a Turkey Man special drink. So I'm sure that Dustin will have to tell me what that was because I don't remember specifically. Johnny says, Dustin and Turkey Man 2 will both agree the amount of love I felt on set was astronomical. That's awesome. Yeah, like I said, the community is amazing. Getting to go to Tromathon and meeting so many people that I did interviews for, with for the Frozen Dead miniseries, which if you guys haven't checked that out, that's on my social medias and on Johnny's social medias. It is Necrofiends of the Frozen Dead. And it's a really cool miniseries. So yes, a grasshopper would be minty. Okay, Dustin says he would say it's a toxic concoction, really oat milk with green vegan food coloring. Oh, that's hilarious. I honestly thought it was alcohol. That's hilarious. Okay, cool. Then everyone can enjoy it. I love that. Mark says, I know some real turkeys. I think everybody does. You know, like for a while there, we were using the phrase turds in the punch bowl because like it seemed like no matter how many people get together, 99% of them can be awesome. And there's always going to be that one turd in the punch bowl. So you can't let them ruin your punch. You know, you just have to go find another drink. Oh, all the comments are coming in. I love you guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Dustin says, I agree. Johnny was a rock star and everyone was really supportive of one another. Again, love all you guys. I love when you come in and tell me what everybody's up to and that we can all support each other because that's what it's really about. Even if you're someone that doesn't have projects that they're working on right now, you could be home raising your kids and just need another adult to talk to. You know, I'm not necessarily just talking about making movies or making music or writing books, but in whatever is going on in your life, we all need to have a healthy support system. And I tell people that, you know, the community that I've just been getting to learn to know in the past few months is like the family I didn't know I needed. You know, it's like another branch of my family tree that I just absolutely adore. And, you know, my family tree is full of nuts. So they all just fit right in and we have a great time. So Johnny says, I'm simply some guy lucky enough to have friends who are even cooler than me. That is not possible. You're the coolest, Johnny. Dustin says, oh, you finished my book and enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the support. Thank you. That is awesome. And Luna says, it could have been a matcha drink. Oh, I love matcha. I have not had matcha in a long time. But when I did, I really liked it. I was putting it in my shakes. And it was a really good way to enjoy it. Tina Michelle says, Johnny Logan Harley, I'm your backup bass player. I'm sure there's an inside joke there. And Johnny says, Dustin Hauser has officially joined us in Curse of the Ghostwriter. Hi, welcome, welcome. All right, is he somebody in there that my character hates? Because the person that's playing my husband in the movie, you guys know as Reaper, and well, actually, you might know him as Candy Sizzle because we do the Saturday podcast, the goddamn program together. And every time Johnny would feed me a line that I had to do for the scene I was filming, and I had to get mad at him, I'd just go, that dick. So like every time I talk to Reaper now, I'm like, you're a dick, because of the movie. He's really not. He's a fantastically wonderful person. And here he is. Hello. I conjured you up like we do with Babylon. I was talking about you, and there you were. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. All right. And Dustin says, you don't want to see Turkey Man too drunk. He always ends up ranting about how Gonzo stole Camilla from him. I have to watch this because I don't know who any of those other characters are. And I'm very, very curious. That is awesome. Let's see. He must have heard me calling him a dick. You know I love you. You're my brother. I love you. Let's see. Luna says, Starbucks recently had one that had a drink with oat milk and lavender cream foam. I'm not a Starbucks fan, honestly. Either it's their coffee, which to me tastes burnt. I don't care for it. And most of their other things are really full of sugar, so I can't I can't do the sugar. But my daughter buys enough Starbucks for our entire family. So I know that there's stuff in there that lots of people enjoy, and I'm so glad that you enjoy it. I'm not one of those people. See, Johnny says, ladies and gentlemen, another star and producer of Curse of the Ghostwriter, Steve Livingood, yes, a.k.a. Reaper, a.k.a. Candy Sizzle, a.k.a. That Dick. He's awesome. Oh, you were thinking about me. Absolutely. That's hilarious. And Evelyn says, no, this was matcha. Oh, okay. Is that a different Starbucks drink that had the matcha in it that made the green drink? It's funny because you guys know me mind to mouth. So thinking of green things just gave me a little bit of nostalgia because when my kids were little, for St. Patrick's Day, I would either make them green pancakes for breakfast or, like put a little bit of food coloring in oatmeal so they could have green oatmeal to start their day. So that just made me like, oh, that's cute. I wouldn't have thought to put it in like milk. I only had one kid that really drank milk anyway, but that's a cute idea for all of you parents out there. I'm sure that there are healthier food colorings if you don't want to use just the straight up kind. But yeah, you can even put a little matcha in there. Then your kid will be like, yeah, tea. Caffeinated day. Johnny says he made Anne green eggs and ham before. Anne is his amazing wife. She is so cool. If you check out any of his Horror Adorables, he has Trim Adorables now, like any of his merch his wife makes, and she's super duper talented and awesome. So if she's there with you, please tell her I said hi. And Dustin says, since you're a Green fan, like the Leprechaun films, I have not seen them in ages. I need to rewatch them. But I'm a Green fan, so Julius, it's almost football season. If anybody has any fantasy football tips, I'm taking them once again. We're doing the draft in a couple weeks, and I don't even know who's playing. I'm so bad at this. Let's see. Luna asked Johnny, did she like them, Sam I Am? How did she like the green eggs drink? What was that? Start that again. Green eggs and ham. Did Anne like them? And she says, some of them I am. I don't know what that was in response to. That's funny. I love the Thursday night show because we're just all over the place. It's great. Did you ever have a special meal, a special drink for a holiday or an occasion that brings you back? Like now I'm thinking about, because I would make Easter bunny pancakes, like just do the circle and then do like the bunny ears for the kids. Or I'm trying to think what else I would do. Definitely birthday cakes. I would do themed birthday cakes, and but I have to because my cakes were pretty damn awesome. And I never took a class. I had no idea what I was doing. Like with most things in my life, it was I'll figure it out as I go. And I would make marshmallow fondant because like regular fondant is horrible. So I would make this homemade marshmallow fondant and just use toothpicks and knives and spoons and just create things. I did the sorting hat from Harry Potter. That came out awesome. I made my one daughter an iPod, and it took me 8 hours to make all of the little icons, on it and stuff like that. And now that they're older, they don't really care as much, but I'm just really glad that I did that. Like, even when my younger daughter was older, I made a My Chemical Romance album cover cake for her that came out really cool. So those are the kinds of things I hope they remember when they get older, not, clean your room, like not that kind of stuff, but like the taking the time to make really cool stuff for them. I hope they remember that. Excuse me. You were talking about the Leprechaun movies. Sorry about that. I was a little ADD. I forgot what that was in reference to. And Erin, hey buddy. If Lizzie's there, tell her I said hi too. So glad you are joining us this week too. Awesome. Johnny says she loved him with her hunk who's a punk. I love that. Dustin gives awesome hugs. He does. I got one at Trumathon. He absolutely does. That is awesome. So if you are just joining us, we are talking about Leprechaun movies. We're talking about movies in general. We're talking about any sort of special occasion, drink, or food that you had that gives you a nostalgic remembrance when you think about it. And if there's anything else you want to talk about, pop it in the comments, because this show is freestyle. We just kind of go where it goes. Let's see. Dustin says, my mom one year made a pizza costume for me. I never forgot she did that for me. Wish I had a picture of it. I love that. As someone whose mom made our Halloween costumes, I absolutely I got warm fuzzies when you said that, because I remember being a kid and her just, it's funny when you're a stupid kid and like everybody else has the plastic mask and the plastic thing and you're like, I want to have that, and instead your mom's like slaving over the sewing machine, making you something awesome, but you want what all your friends have. So you're an ungrateful little shit. But then when you get older and you look back and you just are like, that was so much cooler and I appreciate it so much. She made me, so one year I was Ms. Pac-Man and the costume had a hula hoop in it so that it would have like kind of the globe shape. It's still, my head was kind of like this because she couldn't really, but it was super cute. It even had, now it wasn't that one. I was a lady ghost one year too, and I had earrings that hung down and everything. That one was cool. I wanted to be Elvira. I still want to be Elvira. I fucking love Elvira. But I wanted to be Elvira in like 8th grade. So my mom made me this costume that was like some witch costume. I swear it was this close to being a turtleneck. I'm like, Mom. She's like, you're not wearing a low cut, blah, blah, blah. So I left the house and the neckline had elastic in it. So I just pulled it down. So it was like my shoulders were out. I think I wore that 5 or 6 Halloweens in a row. I loved it. It had a bat belt. Like the belt had a bat. It was really cool. Like the skirt was all jagged and stuff. I don't know if I have photos of that, but that costume got a lot of mileage. I love that thing. All right, lots of comments. Let's see here. What do we have in the comments? Johnny saying, another star and producer of Curse of the Ghostwriter, Aaron Markham. We're going to have the whole crew here. This is awesome. You just said this is a casting crew reunion. Great minds. Dustin says, Aaron is fantastic. And Aaron says, Darby Ogle and the Little People. Is that a movie? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Luna says, Garbage Punch, which has like a ton of different types of liquor and soda and fruit. You put it in a garbage bin or tub and treat it like a punch. Okay, that sounds like something we used to do in college. Just throw I think they called it bug juice. We had a different bug juice at camp, but this one had like the fruit and like way too much cheap vodka. and like juice and stuff. When you're like younger, you can drink that. I couldn't drink that now on a bet. Johnny was a toilet paper mummy once. I want to see that. I think that's fantastic. And Luna says she can see me as Elvira. I would love, 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 love to dress up as her. Like, just, I have so much respect for Cassandra Peterson. I read her book. I just want to meet her someday because she is an icon. I love her. Yep, Dustin says Elvira is a classic. 100%. She is amazing. You should do it. I should. I needed to get another wig because I'm like using all my wig budget on cosplay and movies right now. My wig budget's like $5. My sister's here. Hi, Sissy. I was talking about you earlier. I don't know if you were on here when I was talking about you. Hi, Lizzie. Oh, Crystal's here. Hey, Crystal. I'm so glad you hopped on too. It's so awesome to see you. And Dustin has to drop off. Everybody say bye to Dustin in the comments. We definitely have to catch up soon. Thank you so much for hopping on. You are awesome. So put in the comments, what were your favorite Halloween costumes? I know it's August, but I love Halloween year round. So if you remember being a certain costume that was like super awesome, definitely let me know. Oh, Shani says, I love Darby O'Gill and the Little People. My dad made us watch it way back when. That's awesome. And Crystal's asking if this is on YouTube too. It should be on both of my YouTube channels, Sydnee Author and Learned and Go-Go. I picked that when I was creating the page. So if it's not, let me know, please, because then I'll know it's not working. Oh, it's an old Disney movie with Sean Connery singing in Leprechauns. I do remember. Now that you said it, you unlocked that cell up there. That's, hey, Sue. Sue's another great friend. Love you. Thank you for hopping on. What did you do? I'm trying to remember what story I was telling about you. What were we talking about? I don't know. I'll have to go back and rewatch this and remember what story I was telling. Luna says she can see me as Morticia Addams. I love her too. She is another icon. Amazing, amazing. I love the Addams Family movies, Addams Family and Addams Family Values. I actually like Addams Family Values better than the Addams Family. I love, love, love the original show as well. But Angelica Houston as Morticia, and I believe it's Raul Julia was Gomez. They are goals, man. I love them so much, and I would love to be, dress up as Morticia for something too. She says the Princess Leia from the 80s with the plastic sweaty mask. I was just talking about the plastic, and then it was almost like a painting smock was the costume. That is awesome. Wherever you want to be, sweetie, I can see you in the comments. Crystal's asking where's best for her to be. So any place, as long as I can see you, which I can. So thank you for hopping on. Let's see. My sister says, Mom made me a zombie rock star costume. That's awesome. I'm trying to remember that. I'm sure I saw it. Let's see. And Luna says the Wednesday series was awesome too. I love that too. I believe that's coming back soon. That was a really good show. I loved that. That was awesome. Erin says she is my dear, my darling. One of her eyes are sparkling, full, and fun. My pretty Irish girl. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my sister's going as Velma this year, she says. I have seen this costume. This costume is amazing. So I'm so excited you're getting to use it again. Hey! Awesome. Thank you for joining. Digging Appalachia is here. And I'm 99% sure I know who's this is real name, but I'm not going to say it in case I'm wrong. You can put it in the comments. But I'm pretty sure I know who this is. Another wonderful, wonderful friend from the goddamn program. I'm so glad you're hopping over here. That is awesome. Luna says, I was a pretty good witchy type character. I've always wanted to do Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks is another icon. I used to have a pair of boots I wore for work. And they were calf high, but they had the like thicker sole. and they were platform, and I'd call them my Stevie Nicks boots because they would 100% be what she wears on stage. So, oh, Shani's got to go. Love you, miss you terribly, honey. Have a good night. Thank you for hopping on. It's so good to see you. And Aaron says that was the song Sean Connery sang in it. And I kind of figured that's what that was, and I didn't know how it went. So that's why I kind of just freestyled it very poorly. Johnny is saying jinkies to you, sissy. You got to see this costume, Johnny. It's a trip. Love it. You just wore it to a Comic-Con, I'm pretty sure, right, sissy? Where did you go where you were dressed up as Velma? Because that's where I saw the pictures. Crystal says, one time in elementary school, I was a homemade California raisin, which consisted of a black ski mask, a black garbage bag full of newspapers, and black pantyhose. It was so wrong. If you have pictures, sometimes the costume ideas are better in your head than the way they are executed. But you went for it. You went for it. So good on you for that. That's amazing. You want Dad to dress up as retired Charlie Brown. You got to do the little squiggle. Our dad's bald, so she could do the little squiggle on the back of his head. That would be adorable. And yes, it was the Dover Comic-Con that she went to as Velma. And she had so many people taking pictures with her. It was adorable. That is so cool. I'm trying to think what else Mom made, because the one costume for my older brother was a dog, and it was really cool because the back legs and front legs, she used the old coffee cans, like the tin ones that they haven't made in a bazillion years. And so my brother was like, would walk on all fours in the mask. You know, it was all one big costume. It was really cool. And all three of us wound up wearing it, me and my two brothers, because my little sister wasn't around yet. We all wore that various years. And the one year my younger brother was wearing it, we were going around the block, and we get to the house where the notorious guy who gave out nickels lived. Did everybody have one of them in their neighborhood, or was that just a growing up where I did thing, the guy that gave out the nickels for Halloween? And he answers the door, and he looks at my brother, and he goes, "Are you a mole?" There was nothing about that costume that said mole. And like, really, why would you go to mole? Like, I vividly remember that guy. It was really funny. The nickel guy. Aaron says, last day of school for middle school, I went as Saturday Night Fever Travolta. I want to see that too. I cannot picture you dressed up as John Travolta, so that had to be iconic. That's hilarious, and I love that so much. Let's see. Crystal says, this was pre-photographic days. My mom was in a hurry to make a last-minute costume, and she did her best, and that is what matters. Like I said, like sometimes you just make it work, and then it's kind of like, I don't know if that worked as well as I wanted it to, but you made it work, and you have a story. And that's the best part about life. Either things work out or you get a great story, you know? And I think that's fantastic. That was very innovative, and yay for your California raisin costume. That's awesome. Let's see. Luna's asking if I've ever dressed up with any steampunk type costume. Not specifically steampunk. My older brother, it was the year Hurricane Katrina came through, because they're in Jersey, and the governor moved the Halloween observance to like the weekend because there was just so much damage from the storm. It gave everybody some time to clean up so the kids could trick or treat, which worked out perfectly because then my kids got to do Halloween over here and then go over to their aunt and uncles and do Halloween again. And he set up an entire steampunk carnival. It was so wicked cool. And he and his wife did the steampunk outfits, and they had all kinds of decorations. They had a shooting range, you know, like that you get at the amusement parks with the like flash, and it, you know, and things would go off. He did that. He had I'm trying to think what else he had. It was just so freaking cool. This whole like steampunk carnival was amazing. So I would love to dress up like that. And Crystal says, or half rotten bananas instead of a nickel. There's always somebody that thinks fruit is a good idea, and it's not a good idea. Because unless I know you, my kids are not eating any fruit that you give them. Like, people are nuts. Hello. Thank you, Kyler, for jumping on. It's good to see you. Jesse says, the homemade food always gave me the creeps. I remember my dad giving the neighbors carnation instant breakfast one year. My uncle ate that, or drank that actually, every morning. So anyway, and now, mind to mouth, here I go again. Talking about giving out unusual things for Halloween. When my ex-husband and I split, I wound up renting a house so that my kids had a transition between moving where we are now. I didn't want them moving to another state. They were doing a lot of different transitions. So I wanted them to have a little safe space where they could adjust on their own. So I wasn't planning on being there for Halloween. And these kids knocked on the door and I didn't have any candy. I thought that I'd be out of there before the trick-or-treaters started. So I started looking around for like anything to give these kids. I found like little Play-Dohs that weren't open yet. I don't know if a kid got a stapler. I don't know. I grabbed stuff and I just was like, happy Halloween. Like, I felt so bad. I was so unprepared. And my youngest still talks about that because she remembers me like being embarrassed and handing out whatever I could find around the house. And I'm like, we got to go before, more kids come and I have nothing to give them. I felt terrible. So let's see. Oh, if I can find the pictures of the carnival, I'll post them. Like, I'll ask my brother if it's okay, but I'm sure it's fine. And because they kicked ass with that. It was really cool. Hey, welcome to the Thursday nights shenanigans. Let's see. Crystal keeps getting booted out. She's in Facebook jail and it keeps realizing I shouldn't be here. You should absolutely be here. Facebook is wrong. Fight the power. Awesome. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I am doing fantastic. And I love that so many of you are on here interacting tonight. This is so much fun. I'm trying to think of some other things that I got for Halloween over the years that were weird. Like, there was always the one neighbor that gave out the spice cookies that came in the orange package. They still have them, they come out at Halloween, but they were never a favorite of mine. But one neighbor would give them out like loose. So even if it was in your bag, you'd wind up with like spiced wafer crumbs because it's covered in nickels and an apple would crush them. Not very good planning. But I always liked, like, when you'd get back to the house, if you had siblings, and you'd start playing the I'll trade you game, because inevitably somebody wouldn't like something that another one would, so you could like kind of trade them. Like, I always loved Almond Joys, and like my brothers didn't, so then I could trade, like the Vito honey or whatever, which was okay, but it wasn't the best. That and the Mary Janes, you only ever saw them at Halloween. I never saw them available any other time of year, but somehow they'd wind up in my bag. And another thing was, like, we were the pillowcase family. Like, do kids still do that, or do they have like actual bags? Because we just grab a pillowcase to go trick-or-treating, and you could fill that pillowcase. You'd have candy for months. That was awesome. Luna says there were some houses that they made cookies to give out, and I don't think I ever ate them because I think my parents took them away. And that's the thing. Like, if you have a neighbor that you know well enough to eat their cookies, they're going to bring them over to you, like apart from trick-or-treating, because it's not, they're going to know better than to throw it in your bag and then you wind up with cookie crumbs. So Three Musketeers are your favorite. They were my uncle's favorite. So we would get, like, my uncle lived with us for a time, so he would wind up with the Three Musketeers. Again, solid choice. Not my favorite, but they were good. Let's see. Luna hated Good and Plenty, so I always gave them away. I hated Good and Plenty too. Not a licorice fan. And she said not licorice, at least black licorice fan. Exactly, same. I'm the same. And my mom loves black licorice, so she would take my Good and Plenties. My sister says, I still see kids doing that. I'm going to guess that the pillowcases? Is that what you mean, or do you mean trading candy? That's the problem with My sister being so much younger, she didn't get to be part of like the trick or beat after we'd get home when we'd start like fist fighting each other over candy. Let's see. And Luna says Milky Way used to be her favorite. So Milky Way and Three Musketeers. What's the difference? Does one have caramel and one doesn't? Because they're both the nougat, which I'm still not 100% sure what nougat is other than like sugar stuff. But like, what's the difference between Three Musketeers and Milky Way? I think one has caramel and one doesn't, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Yep, Luna's agreeing pillowcases are the thing to use. Absolutely. They hold so much candy and they're solid because they're cloth. You're not going to get a rip in it, unless your costume is spiked with real metal spikes. Odds are it's going to stay together until you're done your trick-or-treating. Erin always cared for dressing up more than the candy. Big surprise. I'm not surprised at all by that. That is awesome. And that probably sparked your love for special effects and costume making and stuff. So that's fantastic. Carlin says both. Both the pillowcases and the candy. Okay, Luna has confirmed that Milky Way has caramel. So, and that the Three Musketeers is just the nougat. Gotcha. Jessie says, Crystal wants me to tell the story where she was trick-or-treating and this 1,000-year-old lady gave her full-size Butterfingers, but the lady was making pie crust and her hands were crusty as fuck. Oh, wash your hands, ma'am. That sucks. At least the Butterfingers were wrapped, right? Like, as long as it was still in the wrapper, you could kind of brush it off, but that's still nasty. That's super nasty. Ugh. And he says in her kid mind it was fungus. But now that she's older, she realized what it was, but she wouldn't eat Butterfingers for decades. That sucks because there's nothing like getting Butterfingers stuck all up in your molars. And then you have to kind of push it out because it makes this kind of adhesive that nothing else edible does. Man, this is when I miss eating sweets. Like, it's been, how old's my youngest? She's 19, so it's been 17 years. And if I had a Butterfinger now, I would get buzzed like I was doing drugs, which sounds fun, but it is, for a second, and then I get a 2-day hangover. So it's not cool. And that's one thing I wish I had done moderation instead of giving up completely, because I miss that sometimes. Let's see. Luna says score or not. I think that was the full-size Butterfingers, and then it was, oh no, the hands are gross. And my sister says, I'm tired of the chocolate. I want taffy or Jolly Ranchers. I think I remember that about you, that you were more of the fruit candy than the chocolate. And Luna says she hates the Pepto-Bismol tasting candy. There are some candies that they just are like off-brand, and I'm not entirely sure what they're made of, but they do taste like butt. So that's I know what you're talking about. I don't know what they're called. And I was never a big fan of like the Necco wafers, like the, Valentine's Day, the candy hearts are made out of the same type of thing. Not really a fan of those. But you would get the Necco wafers and you would think like, oh, I got Smarties because Smarties are good. And then it's like, no, they're bigger than Necco wafers and they're not good. And yeah, they're chalky and gross. I think that's what I'm talking about. I think that's the same candy. But I did like, there were bottle caps. Do you guys remember those? Bottle caps and another candy that was similar. They were bigger like that. They were like the same size as the bottle caps. Yeah, that's going to bug me. I can't remember what they were. My sister says, I'll never forget that kids would come into school with Smarties and smoke them. You would smoke Smarties? I remember smoking Pixie Sticks. And I do remember smoking Starburst wrappers. Don't try this at home, kids. This is not smart. But because of the wax on the paper, if you lit it up and you inhaled it, it would coat your lungs long enough to give you a little buzz, kind of like a whippet. And we used to do that because we were stupid like that. Let's see. And Luna says, kind of like Sweet Tarts, right? Exactly. They were like Sweet Tarts, but bigger. And the bottle caps were kind of like that too. And we had candy cigarettes. We did have candy cigarettes too, back when you could still call them that. They still sell them, but they don't call them candy cigarettes anymore. They call them something else. And they were cool because you could like blow into the wrapper and the little poof would come out. So you thought you were smoking. I remember those. We were just down the shore. There's like different candy stores, and they had the candies like the lemon heads. There were lemon heads, Boston baked beans, the red hots. There were Alexander the grape. Do you remember these? They all came in a box, and it was that one brand of candies. They had all of those, and those were really cool. I would remember getting them when my bestie and I would go up the mountains to her uncle's cabin. And this was like, I'm so glad I had this experience because his cabin was literally one room. There was no electricity. There was no running water. The outhouse was a quarter mile down the hill. If my friend Shani was still on here, she went there with us once, so she knows. But it was like in the middle of nowhere. He had 12 acres on the side of a mountain. So it was just so peaceful and wonderful. But there was a general store that we would have to drive to get our supplies. And they sold the lemon heads and the red hots, like all of those things. And then they had, they would have the Cadbury cream eggs, but it would be like months after Easter. And we would get them and then you bite into them and the inside was just like solid because they were so old. They still tasted good. I mean, it's all chemicals. But I remember getting those boxes of candy there. So that like gave me a really nice memory. Oh, wait, we got lots and lots of comments. Hooray. Aaron says, funny, it was 104 here today, and I was making a melting man for Killer Cox just when he thought it was safe to go back in the coop. Another fantastic movie that several of my friends that are on here tonight are involved in. So stay tuned for Killer Cox. I think that if you were making a melting man, 104 is probably a good temperature to be working in for that. Luna says, and those waxy juice or other thing-filled candies. Yes. Yes, yes. They were the wax, and you bite the end off and drink the juice inside. They had them, and then they had the wax lips that were the same kind of like edible wax. I remember that. Yeah, she says root beer or some fruity type thing. They did have the root beer ones. They looked like a little soda bottle, and you'd bite the top off and get the root beer juice, or they had the fruity juice. I remember this. My mom's mom owned a general store. It was a general store and a post office when we were little. And she got all the penny candies, and we would just like the buttons, the little candy dots. And she would get us those wax candies. I remember that. So my sister says they would crunch them with their shoe, smoke them. How do you smoke a Smarties? Did you have to put it in a bowl? Because it's just like powder and it's a plastic wrapper. You couldn't light that on fire. I'm so intrigued by this. Give us the details, Carlin. Not the pixie stick kids would snort them. My generation is just built different. I know people that snorted pixie sticks too, and that's just not a good idea. Good and Plenty were pretty bad. Smoking Smarties, right? I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. That's crazy. And Luna's asking Aaron if he's in Texas. He is. I don't think he would mind me answering. He said, indeed, Luna. Okay, there we go. And he said it was a melting man making a melting man at 104. I bet you were. That is stupid hot. Luna says, and cola too. Yes, the little juices in the wax candies could be cola as well. I don't think they ever did it with like an orange soda though, but I do remember root beer and cola being in there. And Luna is agreeing because she lived in Texas too. I don't think I knew that. That's awesome. I'm horrible. We were stealing my grandmother's Pall Mall non-filtered when I was still in elementary school. I could buy smokes back then too. You know what? I never did the Pall Malls, but I was stealing cigarettes when I was pretty young. And we had a diner. Like our neighborhood was behind a well-known drive-up restaurant, and then there was a diner, and the diner had a cigarette machine. And so when I was like way, way, way too young to be buying cigarettes, I used to go up there and buy them in the cigarette machine. So I know what you mean. Back when, okay, another side note, mind the mouth. So Dave and I went to Live Casino on Sunday and stayed overnight because we went to the Pink concert. Whether you like her music or not, her show is freaking phenomenal. So I highly recommend if you get the chance to go. She just puts on a fucking show. But while we were there, we went into the store in the casino to buy bottles of water, and they were selling cigarettes. And Dave was like, just out of curiosity, how much is a pack of cigarettes? Now, I realize it's in the casino. $25 a pack is ridiculous. In a casino or not. That's what, like, that's a lot. I'm trying to do the math. I can't do math. That would be what, like $1.25 a cigarette if there's 20 in a pack for two. It's a lot. And I could not believe they're charging $25. Now, when I quit smoking, it was $7 a pack, which I thought was ridiculous growing up paying $2, $3 a pack. $25? That's insanity. I think they're probably like $10 if you go to the convenience store. It's still like crazy. Let's see. Crazy how times have changed indeed. That's insane. Okay, I'm still wanting to know more about the smoking Smarties things. Luna said, oh, okay. I did know you were in Texas. I'm sorry. I didn't retain that information. Okay, yeah, moved to Austin. I did. Yes, I'm sorry. I do remember that now that you said it. I'm sorry. I didn't remember that. And Aaron has lived in Central Texas his whole life, and he's in his mid-40s. All right, so my sister says, you didn't need to light it. They would just crush them and the powder and open one end of the Smarties wrappers and inhale and blow. Okay, that makes more sense. The Smarties dust would come out like it was smoke. Now I know what you're talking. I thought you literally meant like flame smoking Smarties, and I was trying to figure out, I'm still trying to figure out why, but I was trying to figure out how that was working, because that's just cuckoo. Okay, so it was just the illusion of the smoke from the Smarties powder. No fire was actually involved. I gotcha. All right. And Luna says we were talking when she was in Corpus Christi. Okay, so gotcha. That's, like I said, I've known so many of you for so long that I don't retain everything, and I apologize. But now that you're telling me, I do absolutely remember. Yep, $25, hell no. Exactly right. That's what we said. That's insanity. Let's see. And Luna says it was about $9.40 or so because I smoked American Spirit menthol. Okay, yeah, they're not as expensive as like the Marlboros and Newports, like those brands, but that's still like a crazy amount of money. That's crazy. And she says, I don't know if I was the only one that tried snorting pixie sticks. Nope, my sister was talking about that a little bit ago. People were snorting pixie sticks, and I know people that did that as well. Not a good idea. That'll burn. That'll burn your sinuses. And I'm not entirely sure that you would get any sort of high after that. It's just something to do as a kid. Let's see. I quit smoking cigarettes after 33 years last year. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. That is awesome. And it's not easy to do. Like I said, Dave and I quit, I think it was 2013. And we both were like smokers for decades. I was a 2-pack a day smoker. I was a heavy smoker. So I understand. And I am so proud of you. That is awesome. Luna said, my friend smoked Camel, which were cheaper than mine. Yep. At one point, I smoked Parliaments, and I think they were more expensive than some of the other ones. I don't know. It's been a while, but it's still like it goes up and up and up and up. It's crazy. Yeah. My sister said, oh my God, it was 6th grade. Yeah, no fire. I don't put it past you to have fire in 6th grade, sissy. I love you dearly, but I know you. So that doesn't, I wouldn't have been surprised if y'all were playing with fire. I wasn't good at the blowing part. I would always choke on the dust. Smoking Smarties was not the life for me. I love that. And I'm glad that you walked away from smoking Smarties. That's hilarious. Luna quit February 14th, 2018. Awesome. Congratulations. It's not easy to do. I give mega kudos to anybody that quits any sort of addiction. So that is awesome. And like I said, even if, because I, of course, when it was 2 degrees outside and I was standing out there shivering. I didn't love it, but I always, was like, I am a smoker. I identify as a smoker, so it was hard for me to retrain my brain. We don't do this anymore. But when I think about how much money I've saved, the health stuff, of course, too, but just from a practical, because you can't see what's going on inside of your body, but like a practical seeing what's going on inside of my bank account, I'm glad that I quit. And Luna's asking if I still have smoking dreams, like super vivid. Absolutely. I had a dream the other night I was smoking, but it wasn't a cigarette. It was something, it wasn't a joint. It wasn't a blunt. It was something in my dream that was just like a stick. I don't know. I have really bizarre dreams. But I do still dream about it sometimes, so I get you. She said, like, you wake up and think, oh my God, did I buy them? And do I have a stash? And did I smoke? Yeah, dreams can be very, very vivid and realistic. And sometimes, you ever have those dreams where like somebody you love does something terrible or like mean or horrible, and you wake up and you're mad at them and they're like, this didn't actually happen. Would you stop being a bitch? But it's like in your brain, they did the thing, and you have to like kind of sage your brain a little bit for the first couple hours you're awake to get over it, because you're all butthurt over something that your brain came up with. I hate when that happens. But yeah, I do have like vivid dreams that include smoking still. Let's see. My sister says we went from talking about Halloween candy to cigarettes. I love this, best podcast ever. Sweetie, you know how my brain works. I'm all over the place. So why wouldn't my podcast be the same way? We just jump on and see what we want to chat about. Jesse says we just had a Joe Camel discussion earlier today. See, and that was a great time to grow up in, when a camel that looked like a penis could sell kids cigarettes. They won't allow that anymore. There was a time when people would walk around with Joe Camel shirts and have Joe Camel stickers, and he was everywhere. It's kind of like Spuds MacKenzie. They don't really have cute animals selling beer anymore either. I really don't think it's, dropped the number of kids smoking or drinking, but it's taken away the cute advertising. That's funny. Well, I know a lot of us grew up in the 80s and 90s, so it was definitely a different time, back then with the stuff. And then when you think about the ads from like the 50s and 60s, where they would literally make up shit, like they would make up words that your detergent had albendazole, which is going to clean it. Like it didn't even exist, but they would make up words, and like they would give the worst medical advice ever. Or like how many women were in the labor and delivery room sucking down cigarettes to try to deal with the pain of childbirth. Like it was a wild time. So it's, it's kind of cool to see how things have evolved, but there's still a lot of things we need to work on. Let's see. Luna says there was a huge mural in New York City in Times Square near the building I worked in, of Joe Camel, that is. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, I've been saving $300 a month from quitting. Went cold turkey. I just got tired of buying them. Good for you. That's awesome. And I hope you're putting that money away, because the first year when Dave and I quit, we had like the jar, and we would put, I think it was like $14 a day, because he smoked half a pack and I smoked a pack and a half, roughly. So we just agreed $14 a day went into the jar. And after a year, we had enough to go spend a week in Disney with our 3 kids. Like, so definitely, I wish that we still did that, because if we kept doing it over the years, but then, the money goes to other stuff. But if you can, put your smoking money away, because it would have gone to cigarettes anyway. So just put it away and then treat yourself to something awesome, because you deserve it. Joe Camel got banned because more kids recognized him than Mickey Mouse. I believe it. He was all over the place. He's Mr. Cool Guy, Mr. Joe Camel. That's funny. Well, this has been a super awesome discussion, but I am going to scoot and go out to my fire pit and hang out. But I absolutely love talking to you guys. I look forward to this every week. You are so much fun, and I appreciate you guys so much. We never know what we're going to talk about. This is totally an off-the-cuff podcast. If you're not already, I'm pretty sure that all of you guys are, but please follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Learned in Go-Go's the podcast related one. I know a lot of you guys follow my Sydnee author, and I appreciate that so much. And I also appreciate all of you who have already picked up a copy of Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Go-Go, How a Preacher's Daughter Pole Danced Her Way to Finding Her True Self. If you haven't yet, you can go to learnedingogo.com and pick up a copy. Everything's pretty much Learned in Go-Go. It makes it easy to remember. But again, I appreciate all of you who have already supported me on that project, who support me on these podcasts, on the movies, on the things I don't even know I'm doing yet, because this year has been so much fun. And I've just added so many things to my repertoire that I never saw coming. And I just appreciate it and love you guys so much. So please stay tuned. As far as I know, there will be a goddamn program on Saturday. I don't know if Reaper's still on here to confirm that or not, but hopefully I will see you guys there. That is complete shenanigans and we get out of control. That is an 18+ podcast for sure. So if you're around, join us then. And until I see you next time, please take everything in life head on. When you stick your head in the sand, you think you're hiding from your problems, but the rest of the world just sees a big ass. Love you guys.